NFC of this year's of NFL season, man. And like I said, this team is really a disappointment, man. Because I really thought that once they had signed this quarterback to a new contract extension, that this quarterback was really going to show themselves like they can really be a contender in the NFC West. And now that I gave y'all that clue, man, the team is that I was kind of disappointed on this year is for the NFC is the Seattle Seahawks, man. The Seattle Seahawks was a team that I really thought high of. And like I said, I knew they wasn't going to beat the 49ers in that division. But I at least thought that it was going to be a little bit more competitive in this division. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that people is probably looking at me like how Pete Carroll is looking right now. How did I pick the Seahawks to be the disappointing team, man? And they had a winning record. You feel me? This team was also 9-8 in the total record. They was 4-5 on the road. They was 2-4 in the division. And in my opinion, there were like several reasons why the Seahawks may have been considered a disappointing team this year. You know what I mean? For the simple fact that some factors included the underperforming players, man. I'm not saying that DK Metcalf had underperformed this year, but DK Metcalf didn't really take that next step over to be solidified as a top wide receiver. We can go ahead and name like Justin Jefferson. We can name Devontae Adams, who also had a bad year, but we still won't put him in consideration of being the top wide receiver. Cooper Kupp, who didn't really have a stellar year either, but was still considered as a top 10 or a top 5, depending on certain people's lists, you feel me, that he can be a top 5 wide receiver. DK Metcalf, I feel like has the whole upside, has the whole potential to be a top 10 wide receiver in the game. I'm not going to fully give him a top 5, you feel me? But a top 10 wide receiver, I think DK Metcalf can be that. Yes, DK Metcalf was able to get over 1,000 yards. But you know one thing about DK Metcalf didn't really get this year? He didn't get 100 catches. Now, I understand that, you got to spread the ball. You got to spread the love. I totally get that. But at the same time, that if DK Metcalf can be a top 10 wide receiver, DK Metcalf has to most definitely get out of the 70 reception range. He can't be in the 70s. I think that DK Metcalf has to be in the high 80s, like an 85 and up, for him to be a solidified, for him to help the Seahawks and help the Seahawks take over that division. And I felt like DK Metcalf, like I said, he's good. He's good. I'm not trying to down him or anything in that nature. But at the same time, man, you still won't mention DK Metcalf in none of the top statistic categories coming in this year. So I really feel like that he took a step back this year. Another guy that took a step back this year in my eyes was Geno Smith. Geno Smith had got that contract extension last year from the Seahawks. And yes, it was a great deal for them because honestly, I don't think that there was another quarterback out there that was worth them getting another deal to bring him in and try to restart over, try to learn this offense. So, but Geno, like I said, I didn't feel like he played up to his expectations, of his contract. Like I said, he was a 69.8% completion percentage. He threw over 4,000 yards. He threw 4,282 yards. He threw for 30 touchdowns, and his QBR rating was 62.8. And this was last year. This is not this year. This is last year. This year, he came in throwing a 64.7%. He threw 3,624 yards. He threw 20 touchdowns, and his QBR rating was a 59.6. He dropped, in my opinion. And I felt like once he dropped, it was that team was no longer can show that potential they showed last year. Because remember last year, if this was this time last year, I'd have picked the Seahawks as my surprise team this year. But the way they underperformed this year, man, like I said, yes, 9-8, you got to win a record. But when it comes to going on the road outside of Seattle, wasn't too good. Didn't make the 500. You feel me? So, I just really think that this team had took a step back this year. They didn't make the playoffs, and that's why I felt like that they was my disappointing team of the NFL.